Hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to Kinda Shabby. My name is Becky, and I am so glad you stopped by. Today, we are going to be using Sherpa fabric to create some cute little fall projects for our home. Well, there is lots of fuzzy fun in store today, so let's get these projects started. For our first project, we are going to be making some Sherpa pumpkins, and I have used 2 different sized platters and a bowl to trace out and cut round shapes, and they are 10 inches, 13 inches, and 15 inches in diameter. And if you have seen these little pumpkins on Pottery Barn, they are really expensive, but they are really quick and easy to make. And I'm going to start with my largest circle, and I'm using a large embroidery needle and some heavy-duty nylon thread, and I have knotted that several times at the end here, and I'm going to turn this over. And then about 1/4 inch away from the edge, I'm going to come up like that. Come up again to make a loop to secure this thread. We don't want that knot coming out. And then we're going to do a running stitch around the edge, and you just take your needle and go down and up and down and up. So that way when we get back around, we're going to make like a little pumpkin pouch here. And now that I'm back where I started from, I'm going to gently pull this to gather all of that up at the top here. Again, making our little pumpkin pouch. And before gathering this completely closed, I'm going to be taking some fiber fill and stuffing my little pumpkin here. And I'm just going to massage that and work that in. And with it sufficiently stuffed, I can now grab my string and draw this closed. And this is why you want to use a heavy-duty thread, because if I were just using a regular cotton thread to do this, this thing would have already broken. And I'm just going to keep pulling and scrunching to get my little pumpkin together here. And with that all nice and gathered up, make a couple of knots and tie this off. Once you have all of your little pumpkins stuffed, you can go ahead and add your stem if you like, but I do like to add those little lobes on there, but that is totally up to you if you do want to leave them as is and just add your stem from here. I'm going to be using a long upholstery needle and some crochet thread to actually stitch mine in. To give my crochet thread extra stability, I have doubled it over and then tied multiple knots at the end. And at the very bottom, in the middle, I'm going to bring it up like this. And then I'm going to bring it through that thread just to really secure it so my knot doesn't pull through when I'm stitching those little lobes in place. Just like that. And then I'm going to come up from the bottom, all the way through my pumpkin and out the top. That's why I love these needles, because they're long enough to be able to go through all of this. And it makes it so much easier. And you can see it's like tufting. That's basically what we're doing, is tufting our little pumpkin here. Bringing the needle back up through the center. And now from this side, we're going to go to the opposite side. And pull this, and you're just going to keep doing this until you make as many lobes as you would like for your pumpkin to have. And now that I have all of my lobes stitched onto all of my pumpkins, I'm going to start making the stems. And I'm going to be using some heavier gauge aluminum wire, and it's not so thick that I can't bend it around. And if you don't have this, you can also use some florist wire. Anything of that sort that's going to allow your stem to be flexible is going to be just fine. And I think that's going to be a good size for this one. And then I'm going to take those ends and just twist those around. And now I'm going to take some craft paper out of an Amazon delivery and wrap it around my wire. And you could stop right there and glue that in, and that would be just fine. But now we're going to wrap it with some of this thicker jute twine. And the Pottery Barn pumpkin featured a little bit of burlap at the very top of the stem. And just add a little bit of glue and glue that into place. And I'm going to start gluing that, and we're going to cover the entire piece, wrapping this all around to create our finished pumpkin stem. So after getting this wrapped, you can adjust the look to however you want your little stem. And then I've left a little bit of that uncovered and pointy, so then I can stick that into the pumpkin itself, and then I can glue that down. So I'm going to load that up with glue, and I'm just going to press and hold for a little bit until that sets up. That is really, really cute. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same thing and put the stems onto my other little pumpkins here as well. But I think that little pumpkin patch is going to be just adorable. And my little pumpkins all turned out so super cute. Well, let's go ahead and move on to our next project.
I found this sweet little pillow on Pinterest, and I'm going to be using this as inspiration to create my own little pillow. And we're going to be using the Sherpa fabric to create our cute little ghosts. I found this free image on Google and then resized it to fit my project, and it is 4.5 inches tall and 3.5 inches wide. For the front of the pillow, I'm using this pretty little pink and white buffalo check, and then I will be using this white cotton duck cloth for the back. To save time, I've gone ahead and cut out the ghosts and pinned them to the front panel of my pillow, and my front panel is 12.5 inches high and it is 21 inches wide. I'm going to be making an envelope back, so I'm going to begin by pinning these back panel pieces into place. Beginning with the smaller piece, and then placing the larger piece over the top. And this forms the pocket for our pillow form. The bottom panel is 12.5 inches high by 13 inches wide, and the top panel is 12.5 inches high by 16 inches wide. I'm doing French seams, stitching all the way around with the right sides facing out. And I will be stitching a 1/2 inch seam allowance on all 4 sides. After stitching, I'm going to be trimming down this seam, starting by clipping the corners close to the edges but not through my stitching line, and then I'm going to trim down this seam allowance to a 1/4 inch allowance, just like that. And now that we've finished trimming our seams, we're going to be turning our pillow inside out. Making sure to poke out those corners really well. Once turned, I gave the pillow a good press, and now I'm heading back over to the sewing machine. This time I will be stitching a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and that's just going to catch in those raw edges and make this a nice finished seam. And now we're going to turn it right side out, and once turned, we're going to press it one more time. Because Sherpa can be a little fiddly to sew, I'm going to be using Aleene's Fabric Fusion to glue this into place. running that glue in the middle and also all around the edges here. And I placed a piece of cardboard inside the pillow so that glue is not going to seep through to the other side. Roll it down and press it into place. And roll it back and get this other side glued down. And then press and hold and give that glue just a second to set up. After gluing the rest of the ghost down, I'm going to show you how I come back in and make all of these edges a little more defined all around. I'm going to take my finger and lift up the pile. Then I'm going to come back in with my Aleene's glue and run right along the tip, making sure that I don't get it on the fabric below. Then I lightly pat it in with my finger, and that gives us that nice definition while sealing in the cut edges of the fabric. Next, I'm going to be taking some black peel and stick felt, and I have cut it into little tiny rectangles, and then I took those and rounded off those edges, and that's what we're going to be using for the eyes. And we're going to peel this off, and I still have my cardboard in there for a firm working surface, and we're just going to pop this down and press it into place. And now I'm going to round off the edges on this little rectangle right here. And again, we're going to peel off the back. And I just love using this. It's just so easy. And then we're going to get this one pressed into place. And just look how cute that is. I love it. This is just so adorable. I absolutely love how it turned out. Now I'm going to be saving the pillow form for the end of the video, so now we can just go ahead and move on to our next project. How cute is that? Lots of people seem to be making this last project here, but it's really cute and I want to make one for myself. I'm starting with a large gallon-size mason jar. Then I'm taking a large bangle bracelet and placing that on the top, and that is going to hold my styrofoam ball so nothing gets glued. And we're taking more Sherpa fabric, and I have rounded off those edges, and then we're going to gather it all up, gently draping it over the top, and then fluffing and straightening it out, making sure that it is all even. Then we're going to make little folds at the front to look like arms. Grab a little pumpkin and put that in the front so it looks like our ghost is holding onto the pumpkin. And then taking some glue, adding a little bit, and gluing that into place. And once again, we're using our black peel and stick felt to make eyes for this little ghost as well. Starting with rectangles and rounding off those edges. And I'm going to peel off the back. And before I actually stick it down, I'm going to kind of decide where I want my little eyes to be. And that looks good, so I'm going to push this one down here. And then peel off the backer and get this one put into place here and stick that on. That is just so cute. Oh my goodness, that is absolutely adorable. And how cute, quick, easy, and fun was that? Well, now all I need to do is give you a closer look at how cute all of this week's projects turned out. you so much for joining me today. It has been my pleasure to craft with you. Please subscribe for more kinda shabby but always chic crafty inspirations. And until next time, my sweet friends, be blessed.